What's going on, everybody? Triple Crown 24 back today, and I want to talk about poor eBay shipping again. I've talked about this before. Today was a turning point for me because I've had a very large uptick in very poor shipping lately. Let me show you what I mean. So I got in 4 cards today that were sent in bubble mailers, 2 of which were packaged very well, 2 of which were not packaged so well. So let me show you the first one. This one is for my collection from 2020 NBA, WNBA, excuse me, Prism. And it had a piece of blue tape over the top, but other than that, it was sent exactly as you see it right here. Um, Now, how it was sent, let me cover up the seller's address because I believe it's a residential address here. I want to try to show you that there's this big crease down the middle here. You can kind of see how it bends the bubble mailer. Uh, and on the back you can see it too, and this is something that's just going to happen. It could be from it being like shoved into a mailbox if the mailbox is small. It could be that it gets kind of caught up in a stack somewhere, or some boxes press up against it if it's put in a cart to send off to the next facility when it's being loaded. A lot of things can happen while it's being sorted. It's just something that's out of the control of any seller that's out there, and I think any seller would tell you that. Now, the thing about it is that if you use cardboard, that doesn't happen. And this was cardboard Dunkin' Donuts by the look of it, that was used to send me this card today, which was sent in a team bag inside the top loader with the cardboard around it, no scotch tape, beautifully done with rubber bands. You can also use blue tape, works. And I mean, even if scotch tape was used, it's on the cardboard, and who cares? So I'll reuse this cardboard to send out another card. But this was a $5 card with free shipping that was sent with tremendous care, and I really appreciate that seller. And I think it reflects in their feedback that they take good care of their customers. Now, the second card that I got in today that wasn't shipped very well, I'm actually going to have to pull up a picture of it here. So this is how I pulled it out of the package. And as you can see, it is bent. It was sent in a card saver with a team bag around it. Here's a better look from the side of how it was bent. So it's kind of got the obtuse angle going to it. You don't want to see that with your cards. And then the empty bubble mailer with nothing else in there to protect it. Now, the interesting thing about this one was that it was not sent as like a first class bubble mailer package, but rather a first class letter. And you can see it right here. It says FCM letter, so first class mail letter, for 55 cents. And when you send a letter like that, you have to send it, it has to go through the machine, and that right there is machine marks from when it went, where it went through. Try to cover up his address here. You can see it's got a, well, you can just basically see that that's what happens when it goes through a machine. That's what it looks like, and that's when the machine has to press down on it. So 55 cents, what that is the equivalent of is using one of these. These are forever stamps that you get at the post office if you were sending out a regular letter or anything of the sort. Those would be 55 cents each. So the way to avoid having it go through the machine, you can use 2 things. Number one, there's a non-machinable stamp. I don't have any of those to show off, but it's 70 or 75 cents. I can't remember, and that forces the package, whatever it might be. It could be a letter, just a PWE. It could be a bubble mailer. It has to be hand canceled, so it doesn't go through the machine to be canceled. It is hand sorted. The second option, this is what I use, is these additional ounce stamps. So what this will also do is a first class mailer. This will get you 1 ounce of postage. Here's just one of these. This will give you 2 ounces, and sometimes if I'm sending PWE, the letter might come out to 1.1 ounces. So this will not only cover that so that it doesn't come postage due, but it will also make sure that it doesn't get machine canceled. Now, sometimes they do accidentally put them through the machines if they're just not paying attention. I do my best to put, I write non-machinable on there. I have this stamp up there where it's noticeable. Sometimes it happens that that's out of my control, and it's out of the control of any seller who would do such a thing. But these are very useful in protecting cards that you want to send out if you're going to send PWE or some kind of economy shipping method. Now this seller had charged $1.50 to send this out, so I was expecting a PWE, but for $1.50, I'm definitely expecting a non-machinable stamp. If you do, I've had plenty of sellers who send me with this 55-cent postage. There's never a problem, but when you're sending a thicker card like this, it's pretty critical that you're going to have to use that additional postage because you're really asking for trouble, and that was the case here. Now I have been able to kind of correct it. There's still a bit of a crease that comes down right here. It's not too distracting from the card, so I will end up keeping this for my collection. The one thing about this that, I'm obviously not too happy when a card comes in like this, regardless of the value of the card. And this was one that I happened to win at auction for 99 cents. Again, earlier I mentioned it was $1.50 shipping. And I know that someone out there is probably going to think that, oh, well, you shouldn't be complaining for a $2.49 card. You spend a lot more money than that in the hobby. I made a purchase. I was a customer. And it really shouldn't matter if it was a $2 card or a $250 card. It shouldn't matter. If you're going to send it a certain way and you're charging for that, then you gotta send it that way. I've been running into this a lot lately where I've been winning some certain cards that are put up at auction style for very cheap, and that's just one of the risks that you run doing auction style, is that you don't really have a control over what it goes for unless you use a reserve, or you just decide to cancel the transaction, but that's usually going to get you into trouble if you do that. And when that happens, the seller, to try to kind of, I guess, save a couple bucks, will send PWE, or they'll try to send for the cheapest amount possible in order to kind of make a little bit extra on the card. Which, I mean, the shipping cost shouldn't be viewed as like part of your profit, in my opinion. Maybe others have a difference of opinion on that, but mine is, I know for me personally, my shipping is pretty much at cost. If I am making anything, it's usually negligible to another package I may send out where I actually have to pay up a little out of pocket to send it out. So it kind of balances out. But these are 15 cents. So for an additional 15 cents, this thing could have been hand sorted and this would have been avoided. But now the seller had to refund me completely. And the seller actually got attitude with me when I asked about it. They said, quote, "I've sent out thousands of cards and you're the first complaint or problem that I've had." And of course, it was the wrong your. It was the Y-O-U-R, not Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. Usually happens when I have to send a message like this. And they said, "But I'll refund you. Thanks." So just this passive aggressive message. And usually when someone has to tell me how many cards they send out, it's usually not true, is what I found. So I checked their feedback. They have about 1,400 feedback. They've been on eBay for a while, 100% positive. But a quick search of their items for sale shows they only have 5 cards listed for sale. And a search of their sold history from the past 90 days shows 91 completed listings where cards have sold, not all of which were cards, and not all of which were cards that were sent PWE style. There were some that were $3.49 shipping, so first class bubble mailer, or even more where it would have to be sent priority mail. So, thousands of cards, give or take a few thousand, is kind of probably what was more accurate to the realization there. But just for the passive aggressiveness and with that and the lie, the seller is going to get a negative from me in this case. So I've just been seeing this very often where I'm getting cards sent like this one where it's just sent without any sort of protection around it, and it's kind of frustrating. And a lot of times I've gotten cards where they're still safe and it looks like the bubble mailer has been through quite the journey, to say the least, and that might be a light way of putting it. I've had some where it looks like it's been run over by a truck and somehow the card is still safe inside even though there's zero protection around it. And I kind of have to just hold my breath when I open up the bubble mailer, knowing that it feels like there's just the card and the top loader thrown in here and this bubble mailer looks like it's been crushed. Let's hope for the best. And today it finally caught up with one of the sellers that had done that. So I really recommend it. It's It's the same price to send out a card, whether it's a 1 ounce package or a 4 ounce package. And my average weight of a card that I'll send out is 2.7, and that's either using cardboard like you see here, or it's using filler cards. So I'll just take some commons and put them on both sides to prevent the actual card from being bent, and that also works as well as a substitute for cardboard. It just kind of depends on what's more convenient and what's more handy at the time, and also kind of what the thickness of the card is, but that's a topic for a different video. So I just wanted to share that little experience today. Let me know what you guys think down below. I would like to see if this is something that a lot of other people are experiencing. I know that there are a lot of new people coming into the hobby, a lot of which are selling cards. Just make sure you're packaging the stuff well, regardless of what the card is worth. Whatever shipping method you might choose to use, just make sure that it's packaged the way it is. And if you're someone who has a problem with me saying that, or you think that this is a personal attack or anything, it's not. But maybe it is a sign that you might need to change a thing or two if your shipping methods. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. But hopefully nobody gets too butthurt over this little video here. So that is that for me today. I appreciate you guys checking out the video. As always, stay safe and be kind.